So what does this mean to ecologize capitalism, right? We all know about massive government financial subsidies that distort markets in various industries, right? Subsidies do not create, of course, they destroy the level playing field that many people, be they economists or investors or bankers or business people, actually want and that we need to have in a sensible economy. But we need to consider that environmental pollution itself, in all of its forms, is a huge subsidy. My friend Bobby Kennedy Jr. likes to say, if you show me environmental pollution, I'll show you a subsidy. And it's also true that if you point out environmental pollution, you'll point out cheater economics. You'll point out a place in which we need to ecologize the system. And that's all towards developing what people call the true cost economy. When we develop a true cost economy, we will save the Amazon and a lot of other things. When we develop the true cost economy, I think we can sort of save the planet, so to speak, and build that sort of more just and ecologically sustainable world. So a subsidy, right, is not just a government handout. You hear a lot about that in the free trade circles and from the ideology of free trade agreements itself. It's not just the billions that we give to farmers, be that in France or Germany and the United States. That needs to be dealt with. But this other subsidy is important too, because when you're doing ecological damage to future generations, you're really taking something vital away from them. And that's just simply cheater economics. We have to see it for what it is and make the transformation happen. So the flip side of that is when our products reflect the true cost, right, then something very magical happens. The cleanest goods and services, the cleanest products become the cheapest. And when the cleanest is the cheapest, or the cheapest is the cleanest, works both ways, then I think we've got a chance to save the planet. And that really, to me, is what it means to ecologize capitalism. It's a great campaign that its time has come and is waiting to happen. And I see that Utopia, as a magazine and website and much more, can really help show the true cost of bad products and cheater economics. People need to see that point blank. Utopia can also, of course, show that good products do exist. And yes, they may have a 10 or 15% premium. We all know that when we go to buy our organic food, right? But on that deeper level, those products are really the bargains, and people need to understand that. So Utopia needs to make the right actions for people simple and desirable, right? And they've put a lot of footwork into doing that, as we see around the office complex here with the style and the work that's been done. And this really is important to helping us take those steps to this great ecological U-turn, because people will not only know better what to do, but they'll feel a larger part of a community, and they'll feel that their actions are on a scale commensurate with the problem. And that's very important to social change. So Utopia, of course, plans to do even more than that. And I suspect Claudia said that to you, so I won't go into that.
No,
I'll just.
It's a secret.
Well, I'm gonna bear a few, just one or two of the other secrets, you know, as well as the products and our shopping and consumption and all of that. People need to know ethical ways to deal with their finances and their investment funds, and we can inspire people to not only do that, but to be a part of that team in that sort of Panther-esque Rainforest Action Network sense, to put the kind of public pressure onto the different corporations and government agencies to get them to make the kind of concessions that we've worked so hard to get the Burger Kings and the Home Depots and the Citibanks of the world to make. And really, in each of our own separate ways, right, we need to address these great issues of our time. And we can't afford to have slow solutions to fast problems, right? Outrage, when you think about it, is not an inappropriate response to the death of the planet's ability to support life, right? But it's not just about getting angry or outrage, it's about getting organized. And I really see that these days the internet and the web and magazines and the printed word are still very powerful ways to to help us get organized and to address these kinds of issues. And in conclusion, I just want to say that I really believe that we can ecologize capitalism and launch that campaign and build the true cost economy to buy us 100 years to see if that's an acceptable system or not, right? And I believe that we can orchestrate this great U-turn in many respects in our own lifetimes. And people need to know that. It's not way off. Barry Commoner said that in 10 years, if we had the political will in those 4 sectors of energy, transportation, food, and manufacturing, we could be well on the way. Now, we don't have the sufficient political will, but it can be generated. And that, again, is part of the work of Ecotopia. Ecotopia, I think, is a part of that vision. And if you all do it right, you'll be a vital part of that vision. David Brower, who came from that lineage of Walt Whitman and Henry David Thoreau and John Muir and Rachel Carson and others, used to tell a story about a boat that's on fire. And he would tell it to me when I get all pissed off and angry at the World Bank or the International Monetary Fund or the WTO or this corporation or that corporation. And he said, look, imagine that there's a lake. And out in the middle of the lake is a boat that's on fire. And the people on the boat, as many people, a big boat, as many people as we are in this room, but nobody knows how to swim. And you're just screaming from the shore and you're saying, you know, jump out, the boat's going to sink. You're just not going to get a lot of cooperation, right? And as Brower would tell the simple story, and it's very simple, if you just pull up next to it with an alternative for them to step onto, right, you're going to get a heck of a lot more cooperation, right? And what I see that Claudia and Gregor and the Ecotopia team, and that really means all of you, I know, because you've all contributed to this effort in so many different ways. What you're doing is that you're building a lifeboat to get us to the shores of a better world. And for that, I just really want to say thank you, and thank you all very much for inviting me to the other side of the planet to be a part of your gathering. Thank you.